What is going on, everybody? We are live just about 2 hours now until we tee off at Wiley. I wish I could do these pregame shows 2 hours before we tee off every single week, but once we get to the East Coast and we're swinging at 7 a.m., I promise you I will not be waking up at 5 a.m. to do this show. So usually this will be Wednesday night, like I said last week, and we're just going to talk our way through some narratives, talk our way through some final thoughts, talk our way through our betting card, and just answer any questions if they come up. I would like to start with the narratives like I always do. Every single week I go through every single interview and see if anything that happened in the interview can relate to the golf course, can relate to the DFS lineups, can relate to our bets. Sometimes we find some really juicy stuff. A guy will blatantly tell you if his game is right, if his game is not good, but sometimes it's not the best. This week, there wasn't really much. I'm going to be honest. There was not much in terms of interviews. Will Zalatoris, he just talked about how he feels the best he's felt since his injury went down, which is a great sign, obviously, right above my shoulder. One of my favorite, literally my favorite golfer. So I'd like to see him getting back healthy. He feels good. Still don't think that really correlates to good play yet, at least, especially not on this golf course. So I'm still going to be taking the backseat to Will Zalatoris. You want to get crazy, though? He says he feels good. Why not throw him in some DFS lineups at like negative ownership? All right, Brian Harmon. Brian Harmon is talking about how his game feels really good and how he loves this course and how well this course suits his game. Literally exactly what I've been hammering and banging and writing all week. Although the course history is bad, he loves the course and he thinks it fits the game well. And I think his bad play at this course in the past has to do with calendar, like I said this year. So he says his game's in a good place and he loves his play. Load up on all things Brian Harmon. All right. Thirdly, about Rose, he said that this golf course suits his game super well when his game is in the right spot. I think that kind of alludes to his game not being in the right spot. I kind of agree with that. He doesn't seem to be playing well of late. So, yeah, I'm kind of out on Justin Rose, out on Will Zalatoris, in on Brian Harmon based on what they said in the interviews. But that was really all I got out of the interviews. But if you didn't listen to the Gary Woodland or see the Gary Woodland stuff, go look. It was crazy. He had brain surgery. He literally felt like he was going to die in his sleep. Insane stuff. Glad to see Gary's back. Gary's back healthy on the golf course. But let's get to the bets. Let's break down the card. Let's get to the final thoughts. This is the Golf Mecca. You want access to the spreadsheet? DM me. I'll give you the link. It's literally just everything I do. You'll see it. So we have our outrights over here. Outrights in the top left. The $5,000 golf bets I give out during the week right here. We have a one matchup per round right here. This will come Friday for the live show. Our DFS exposure, what contest we're playing in, our underdog bets one a day, our prize pick bets one day, and this is just obviously, hopefully we don't lose $1,500 but yeah, we haven't put any winnings in yet. So let's break down the betting card. Ludwig Aberg, I went to the top. I went to the top of the leaderboard. I am yet to do this, honestly, yet. I talk a big game with Ludwig. I'm like, yeah, I always want to buy his talent. I always want to buy this skill set, but I haven't yet. And I'm doing it now. I'm doing it now because I think once this guy matures, once he comes into his own, we're going to see him perform on the big boy golf courses. We're going to see Ludwig on the Torrey Pines. We're going to see Ludwig in the majors. But for now, Ludwig has done the thing already on these shorter positional wedge fest. The only fault I would say Ludwig has in his game is long iron play. And he can nearly completely mitigate that at Wiley with just the long and straight driver prowess. So he's already won on this style of golf course. His best results have came on these style of golf courses. I'm doing the thing, 17-1. Because I didn't really love anything else. The field's not great. Let's do Ludwig. All right, then I went all the way down to Denny, and obviously you guys know the strategy. I'm not going to break this down like I do every single week, but don't want this to get more than $500 on a weekly basis. Denny McCarthy, 44-1. If Denny McCarthy was in the slightest bit of form, he would be one of the most popular golfers on the slate. Anytime we get to a short Bermuda golf course, Denny McCarthy is extremely popular. But the results aren't really there yet, and it's early in the season. But if you dig deep, you'll see that Denny McCarthy has gained over one stroke on approach in 3 straight starts. That is the first time he's done that since 2020. And if you know anything about Denny McCarthy, he really struggles with his irons. He's great around the green. He's great putting on Bermuda grass, which we have here. So we're getting Denny out in good iron form. Sorry, I meant to put it like that. We're getting Denny in good iron form, heading to a surface that his best surface. Sign me up. Yeah, 44-1, Denny McCarthy. All right, Keegan Bradley, 55-1. Why did I do this? I thought the number was off. I really did think the number was off. And he's coming off of a start at at Kapalua, where he gained 4 strokes on approach, which is like good for Keegan. I mean, good. I'm not even good for Keegan. Just that's good. That's a great start. Four strokes on approach. That's good. And Wailea, he plays every single year. It's not like he's just playing this because he's in Hawaii. Wailea is a golf course he plays nearly every single year, and his results usually go something like this: +7 strokes ball striking, -6 strokes putting, which is not crazy at all. That is the golfer Keegan is. Keegan loses strokes on the putting surface all the time, but he found the fountain of youth with his putter last year, and if he can match that with the good ball striking he usually has at this golf course, and he had last week, 55-1's a no-brainer. He won on a golf course like this just a few months ago at the Travelers, so he could definitely win again here, and this is a far less field than we saw then. All right, Aaron Rye, 75-1. Anytime the wind is blowing, I think Rye is live. Obviously, I like the conditions to be a little bit more tougher for Aaron Rye than what we have at Wailea, but we get windy coastal vibes. I like Rye. His last 2 starts were in the fall. He played on the DP World Tour. Like a few guys went over and played like a decent chunk on the DP World Tour. 2 straight top tens where he wiped the field with ball striking. So his game's in a good spot, and he's heading to a golf course where I think he can contend. Doesn't really have any course history here besides this year. All right, Akshay Bhatia, 88-1 on a guy who just nearly won the event last week. Like, I'm down. I'm down. Akshay's only wins came on these style golf courses on the Corn Ferry Tour, and one win on the PGA Tour was on an easy track in Cali. But anytime you get Akshay on a resort, coastal, beach vibes, the dude's eyes light up, and he plays great golf. Like, not always wins, but his best results are on these resort courses. And I'm nervous that he lost a decent chunk on approach last week, which is the best part of his game, but he gained so much putting. So hopefully he can ride that hot putter, and his approach can get back to his baselines. But 88-1 was a crazy number on this talented kid. Ben Griffin, 100-1, finished T12 last year, coming off of a T8 finish at the RSM Classic. And the last time Ben Griffin had a long break, he almost won the Sanderson Farms. He was 1 putt away from winning the Sanderson Farms after he took 2 months off. So I'm not worried about him taking a few months off from the fall swing. He finished great here last year, and his game's in good form. He is a Bermuda killer, a great wedge player. And literally all of his top 5s, top 10s are on short Bermuda golf courses. Like, you can't find one that's not. And finally, Austin Eck Goat, 125-1. This kid kind of burst onto the scene of the public a while ago. I mean, last year, but I've been following his game when he was at Oklahoma State and came onto the PGA Tour. Absolute stud, gonna win soon. But he had some chances to win, like in the midseason last year. Then the spring came around and he lost his ball striking. It was horrendous. He would go on runs where he was just like losing chunks ball striking week in, week out. But he wrote that ship late in the season, wrote that ship in the fall, and he's coming off of 2 straight good finishes, a T8 at the RSM Classic and a T23 in Mexico, where he gained, well, I have to take my screen off of this. He gained 10 strokes ball striking. I mean, 10 strokes with his irons in Mexico. 10 strokes to the field. That is so wildly impressive. So we know his game's in a good spot, and he finished 12th here last year. So golf course that he's played well before, and he's hitting the ball extremely well. I'm down for Austin Eckroat. That is the outright betting card. We're only going to hit one every 7 weeks, so let's get one this week. All right, the $5,000 golf bets, I gave these out on Tuesday, but I will run through them again. 2 sprinkles on first round leader. I'm going $500. I know it's touted as $5,000, but that's just the title of the bit. So I got $500 to spend. Here's how I divvied up. 20 on 2 first round leaders, just sprinkles. Russ Henley and Matty Schmid. No real narratives there. I'm not a first round leader better. I think they're bad bets. Just literal sprinkles. Okay, then Ludwig. I already gave you my love for Ludwig. Top 10, 2-1. And Brian Harman, my biggest bet is top 20 plus 115. So I told you my love for Harman during the interview stuff. He loves the golf course. He could definitely finish T20 here. And then Ryo Hisansune, top Japanese plus 330. I will talk about this if you haven't heard me say anything about him. He is an up-and-coming Japanese stud following Hideki's footsteps, and I really think in this market, Hideki is his only competition. Throw in that Hideki's game is in a pretty poor place right now. I think plus 330 is a great bet. I'm sorry, I'm talking too fast. Ryo graduated from the DP World Tour this past spring, summer, with a win on the French Open, had a bunch of other top 10s and a bunch of other great results all year on the DP World Tour. I bet the DP World Tour week in, week out. I'm very familiar with his game. Great all-around player, great ball striker, great wedge player. The course he won at resembled this not to its say, but a little bit. So I like Ryo to be the top Japanese player at plus 330. I don't really see any other competition besides Hideki. So, all right, our round one matchup is Austin Eckroat versus Taylor Montgomery. I told you my love for Austin Eckroat. The ball striking is in a great spot, and Taylor Montgomery is a guy who usually finds success with the putter. Just someone I like to fade who just is reliant on the putter. The DFS exposure, like I talked about, I like to play different guys in DFS than I bet. There's some overlap this week because sometimes you just got to play the guys you like rather than just totally fading it and trying to find different success. So I'm not going to explain all these guys. I'll just let you guys look. This is my DFS exposure, the contest I'm in. The guys that are overlap are Denny and Keegan Bradley. But all these guys I like as well. I think they have a path to success. Our underdog play of the round one. Brian Harman over 4 birdies and Keegan Bradley under 68.5. Two guys I already explained. Got good numbers there. Prize picks. Okay, the reason I did 3 legs for prize picks was because I want to get every single entry over 3x, usually, or 3x or over. Usually these 2-leg entries get you the 3x. But for some reason, when I went with 2 scores, it was only like 2.75x. And I didn't really love any of the other markets. So I liked all 3 of these legs. One of them could push, and I think I could still cash something. So Akshay, Keegan Bradley, Cam Davis. I'll talk about Cam Davis a little bit. Cam Davis, a great bounce back candidate. I think is an excellent DFS play. I honestly might add some more Cam Davis. I think I'm going to. I'm going to add some more Cam Davis after the show. I have him at 14%. I want to get him up towards like this 43 range. Okay, so Cam Davis, why do I like him so much? Great DFS play. Awful Kapalua showing. Lost like 10 strokes tee to green. But now he heads to a golf course that doesn't really suit his game on paper, but suits his game when you're looking at the history of Cam Davis. Cam Davis, for some reason, does really well on these like shorter tracks that require club down off the tee, hitting your wedges. So looking at his results, a T7 at the Shriners, a T7 at Wyndham, golf courses that resemble this completely, a T7 at RBC Heritage, a T6 at the Players, and that's just this past year. So now we head to a golf course that just Bermuda, just like all those golf courses I just listed that aren't really like, all right, bomb it and rely on your mid irons and wedges from there. So Cam Davis, club down off the tee. I just think he's a great bounce back candidate. I'm going to play some more in him in DFS. So that's why I like him in prize picks as well. But I don't really think he can win the golf tournament just because his game's not in the best spot. I just think he's a good bounce back candidate, low ownership. So that's the Cam Davis bit. So yeah, that about wraps it up. That's the whole spreadsheet. That is everything from the interviews. So we tee off in a few minutes. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. No more pregame shows the day of it, but we'll have this Wednesday night, week in, week out. So I'll catch you guys Friday. So good luck to you this week. Let's hit some winners.